They told me the job was easy, just watch over a few special inmates. But nobody warned me what would happen if I looked them in the eyes, or worse, if I listened to them. Imagine a prison where the walls seem alive, where screams echo from nowhere, and the rules are designed not to protect the guards, but to keep the prisoners inside. This isn't your regular maximum security facility. This is Black Hollow Penitentiary, a place so secret and horrifying, it doesn't even show up on a map. I work there, and if you're hearing this, let me be clear. Never believe anything the inmates tell you, not a single word. Because the monsters we house don't just eat people, they devour their minds. When I first arrived, I thought I was walking into a regular correctional facility. Sure, the job listing was vague. Seeking night guard for a high-security institution, must have a strong constitution and follow instructions without question. The pay was outrageously good, almost suspiciously so. But I figured it was some government-run black site or something. My first day shattered that illusion. The orientation was just one man, a grizzled old guard named Carter, sitting across from me in a dimly lit room. He handed me a laminated sheet of rules, not looking up as he spoke. Read that. Memorize it. Your life depends on it. The rules weren't what I expected. 1. Do not speak to the inmates unless absolutely necessary. 2. If an inmate tries to speak to you, ignore them. 3. Never make eye contact for more than 3 seconds. 4. If an inmate asks you a question, do not answer. And the final rule was the most chilling. 5. Under no circumstances should you trust anything an inmate says. At first, I thought it was some psychological game to keep guards from sympathizing with prisoners. But on my second night, I learned the truth. It was around 3 a.m., the dead hour, when the halls of Black Hollow feel unnaturally still. I was doing my rounds when I heard it, a soft voice, almost like a child's, coming from cell 37. "Help me!" I froze. The voice was trembling, weak and desperate. Against my better judgment, I took a step closer. Peering into the cell, I saw her, a young girl no older than 10, huddled in the corner. Her hair was matted, her dress torn. "What the hell?" I muttered, forgetting the rules for a moment. How could they lock up a child here? Her eyes snapped up to meet mine, and for a second I felt off, dizzy, like the room had tilted. Then I remembered the rules. Breaking eye contact, I stumbled back, clutching the laminated sheet in my pocket like a talisman. "Please," she whispered, her voice cracking. "They're going to hurt me again. You have to let me out." I almost did it. My hand hovered over the key ring at my belt, but then her voice changed. It wasn't trembling anymore. It was cold, almost mocking. "Or are you scared, little guard?" That's when I ran. When I told Carter about the girl, he laughed. A dry, humorless sound. "There's no girl in cell 37, he said. "Never was. Whatever you saw, it wasn't real." Over time, I learned about the inmates, or rather, the creatures locked up here. They weren't human. Not anymore. Take inmate 12, for example. He looks like a man until you notice his smile doesn't end. It stretches ear to ear, and his teeth are too sharp, too numerous. His favorite game is offering riddles. "Answer correctly," he says, "and I'll tell you a secret. Answer wrong, and I'll keep you here forever." Then there's inmate 49. You don't see him, but you feel him. A shadow that clings to corners, a chill that crawls up your spine. He doesn't speak, but he whispers your worst fears until you can't tell what's real anymore. Each inmate is different, but they share one thing in common: they lie. The scariest night of my life was the night the alarms went off. One of the cells, cell 52, had been breached. The inmate inside was classified as a type Omega, whatever that meant, and we were on full lockdown. Carter handed me a shotgun and muttered, "Shoot first, don't hesitate." As we moved through the darkened corridors, I heard it. A deep, guttural growl, followed by a wet, tearing sound. Carter motioned for me to stay quiet, but my heart was pounding so loud I thought it might give us away. When we found the inmate, I wished we hadn't. It was crouched over a body, a guard, torn to pieces. The thing looked up at us, its eyes glowing like molten gold, its mouth filled with jagged teeth curled into a grin. "You can't stop me," it said, its voice echoing in my head. "You're just as trapped as I am." Carter fired, but it didn't even flinch. It lunged, and for a moment I thought I was dead. But then the creature stopped midair, howling in pain. Chains erupted from the walls, wrapping around its body and dragging it back into its cell. When it was over, Carter looked at me and said, "Now you understand why the rules exist." That night changed me. Black Hollow isn't just a prison. It's a cage for nightmares. Every rule, every precaution exists for a reason. The inmates aren't just monsters. They're manipulators, tricksters, predators. I still work there, but every night feels like walking a tightrope over a pit of darkness. And the scariest part? I don't know if the inmates are truly locked up or if they're just waiting for the right moment to escape. Want more stories like this? Stick around. There's more where that came from.